Sie hören Sport und Musik.
Das Spiel ist aus! Deutschland ist Weltmeister!
In a world where fans fight over whether to call it football, or soccer, two German men defy the odds and call it Fußball. Bringing you inside the German-American football experience. And now, here are your hosts, the Schnitzel Boys.
Oh yeah!
Oh ja.
Wir sind zurück! Die Schnitzel Boys sind zurück! We're back, baby! We've been begone for 7 or 6 long days, or 7 long days from last week. And so much has happened, but we're back, baby! Bjorn, how you doing?
I was going to ask, where did we go?
We were gone for 7 days.
And now
we're back.
Reappeared.
We get to reappeared. Although I realize I'm going to be out of town next week, so I'm going to have my mobile set up next week.
Oh, exciting!
And like I said, it'll probably be like 1 or 2 in the morning.
Because you're going to be
on the
in
other side of
Germany.
the pond. I'm going to be the other side of the pond. I'm going to be in England actually, but on the other side of the pond. Then I'll be in Germany, so we got to figure that out. So this is our last American edition for another couple.
Couple of
before
years.
Both of us are in Europe.
And we're more on
couple of
time.
years.
We're somewhat more on time this week.
That's right. You weren't held by Blue City Radio
I
this week?
was not. I was not. I was not. No competition.
Although we support brother podcasts and sister podcasts. And
Yeah,
stuff. It's
yeah.
cool you're doing another podcast.
Those guys are great.
Anyway, did you have a decent week? We forgot to bring up Easter last weekend. Did you do anything big for Easter at all?
I did not a whole lot. I did. My children are, you know, they're teenagers, but they still insist on the candy.
Right.
My daughter was like, "Are we celebrating Easter this year?" And I said, "Oh, you want to go to church to celebrate the resurrection of our Lord Jesus Christ?" And she's like, "No, I would just like some candy."
Just Cadbury eggs, please. You know what I share? Do you know there's this German commercial? It's just this grocery store chain called Netto in Germany, I think.
Yeah.
And they just make the best commercials. I have a few one. They have like a funny cat one, but they made the sweetest little Easter commercial, and I share it every year on Easter on my Facebook. It's so fun. It's this cool little animated sequence. It starts at a party with like a rooster or a chicken and a bunny rabbit like locking eyes across the dance floor. And
oh wow!
And then they have a baby, which is essentially the Easter bunny, and just a little baby bunny running around laying eggs. And it's just about be who you are and stuff like that. It's a very touching little short film done by
that's
Netto.
that's very nice.
Yeah. So if you ever get a chance, if you guys are online, go on YouTube, Google up, go Netto, Osterhase, Easter Bunny, and it's a sweet little short commercial film.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. But what kind of candy did you get? Was it Cadbury eggs?
Well, actually, then my wife Paige and I, we both got candy. We did not coordinate this. We both kind of were running, separately. So there was a lot of candy. I enjoy, there's the Lindt, the German. That's that I still have an attachment to that. So I will get, and that's pretty readily available at the Rite Aids and CVS's of the world.
Lindt. So it's just, Lindt it's like in the white. My parents have it too. It's like in the white cardboard box, like a little brown thing. Right? And it's like you get one, it's a dark chocolate with a little bit of orange or something like that. Or what am I thinking of?
No, I don't know what you're thinking of.
Oh.
Lindt is just a chocolate company. They make all sorts of things. They make Easter, the golden Easter bunny things out of chocolate. They're chocolate but wrapped in gold. And they have these little balls, the I guess Lindor balls they call them.
Oh, okay. Now, sorry, I Googled them. Yeah. I like the Lindor balls as well. Yeah. I don't know what I was talking about. I was talking about something else.
Orange. That sounded good, though. Orange in the...
Well, there's a dark chocolate. You can get it at any grocery store, pretty much.
Okay.
And they can make some with slight almonds, some with sea salt, or a slight orange twinge to it. And the one usually at my parents' house, it's dark chocolate with a little bit of an orange aftertaste.
And what is that? What is the brand? You?
I
We don't
thought it was
remember. Okay.
Lindt. I'd have to Google it. I
All right.
don't remember. It's
Yeah.
something you get at any grocery store.
Yeah, so there was some Lindt action and some Easter bunnies. There was some Ferrero Rocher is very popular in my house.
Me too.
So there was
that's
some of
that's
that.
an old classic.
Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Not we're sponsored by any of these companies, but yeah, that was it. It was along those lines.
It is Lindt. No, it is Lindt. It must be something else they make.
The orange chocolate thing. Okay.
Yeah, it's called Intense Orange.
Oh,
you can get it at Target. I think it's around.
really?
Here, I will send you a link. To those at home, feel free to Google it. I sent to you on the private chat here. It's like they make a lot of different flavors of like the white. It's like a white cardboard little chocolate container.
Oh, that's just okay. All right. Yeah, that's just their chocolate bars, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Intense
chocolate
orange. I have not. I enjoy those too, especially the ones with the. They have like the chopped up almonds that are
Right.
that
I
I
think they have one with
really
sea
like
salt
that
or
are
something.
tasty.
My
Yeah,
favorite
I don't know.
chocolate
I don't
bars-
know. I'm not into the. I'd like. I know that really, the chocolate I like is really sugar more than chocolate, but that is just kind
sure.
of yeah.
I only got into it because my parents eat it. But as far as the chocolate I used to buy more in Brooklyn than here is the Cadbury bars, the ones with the blue. I love Milka. I love Rittersport. And I like Hershey's with good almonds. I love good Hershey's. But like I usually get the Cadbury bars with the caramel on the inside, or a Cadbury bar with a nut and raisin. I love nut and raisin.
Yeah, those are more around these days. I feel like those are good. I like those too. And then there's this new brand that is also good. Oh no, I can't. They have these very colorful kind of primary color packaging. It's a little sort of thicker than one is used to. Oh, what are they called? They have pretty good design, but they're also tasty.
Is that the stuff you get at Trader Joe's? I know like Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, they have like sort of gourmet brands, and it's like a
no. This is like they have a huge ad in Williamsburg that I drive by now sometimes, and so but I guess the ad is not that effective because I still can't remember the name.
Well, what I will say is M&M's have a chocolate bar now, and they have like
right.
Hershey's has something called like Hershey's Symphony, which is like I could talk chocolate all day, which is like their like premium chocolate bar, kind of, I guess, maybe a little more or less.
Right.
Cacao. I don't know exactly how they do it. But I don't think I've had chocolate in well over a month and a half, because I was
going to say you are off. You're off the chocolate.
I'm off the sugar for a while. I have cheated a couple times. I think I don't know if I said this last week, but in the middle of my diet, I saw that SodaStream made a proprietary Pepsi canister, so you can make your own homemade Pepsi at home with the actual Pepsi name brand. So on my exercise for the day, I walked to Target, bought the Pepsi syrup, then walked home, and then made myself a liter of Pepsi and drank the whole liter of Pepsi. So I cheated once. Okay?
Wow!
So
all right.
So I did cheat. It's not as good as my Pepsi, which I knew it would be. It's a little too syrupy for my taste.
Yeah, I'm sure.
However, I'm not happy I did it because I didn't lose much weight that week at all. But it's that other than that, I've been pretty on point the last 5 weeks or so, and I've not been eating sugar, and I've been dieting.
Very good.
And it's going okay. I think my body is understanding what I'm going through right now. I think my body is okay with the fact that I'm eating is like granola and beans and stuff. My body is like looking forward to it now as the
that's very good.
Yeah, and I think I've been doing okay. So wish me luck. Every now and then I still look at myself in the mirror and be like, I got a long ways to go. But,
good luck. Yeah, no, I mean, I started too. This last week, I finally, after the move, I resumed or sort of resurrected my exercise regimen.
Nice.
I have a new gym that I've been going to. I've also, and I also stopped eating like an asshole. So
I did my first weight training since like college over the weekend.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
I'm toying with the idea of, in addition to cardio and dieting, I'm also going to maybe try to add 3 days a week of weight training or something.
I think as you know, I mean, I'm a little older than you, and I certainly feel like once you hit the anywhere near middle age, that becomes a real it makes a big difference. Any kind of semi-heavy lifting, I feel like, is very good. It's very good for your body, especially as you as you leave your 20s and 30s behind.
Even though I'm younger than you, I was terrible to my body forever. So I have the body of I'm in my mid 30s, but I have a body of a man who's mid 40s. So I'm trying to take that back, yo. But yeah, my triceps are a little sore, which means it's working. Yeah. So we'll see.
That shit hurts. That shit hurts for sure.
I'm happy with my cardio and dieting, but this is definitely the tough thing. So this will require a lot of discipline being involved. But I'm trying to get in the habit of it. I'm trying to recomp. It's called recomping your body.
Yeah.
Trying to get my body good. And
the problem,
maybe even trial with the New York Red Bulls. Maybe one of these days.
It's time.
36. It's time.
You can do it. Yeah, I find the downside of the weight lifting is that you get really hungry. Like, it's a little bit.
That's not good.
The weight loss and exercise thing is a little bit. I always think is a little bit in contradiction. Your body's like, what the mixed messages? What do you want me to do? You want me to build something or tear something down? What are we doing?
No, you're right. And I didn't want to do the weight training, but a friend of mine said, do it. What's your weight? Just go do it. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I want to do it eventually. In my mind, I want to slim first, then bulk up. But, I'm sure I'm not hurting that much by doing a little bit of both at the same time. Who knows? There's a chance maybe I'll hold off on the weight training until
just try it out.
Or only do certain exercises.
I have not. I mean, I have at times lost a lot of weight at certain times in my life, and I found that easier without a lot of weight training, actually.
Right, but my cardio is my walking and dieting was doing the trick. Essentially,
that's great. Yeah,
it was working out.
Excellent.
So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll pause my weight training and wait until.
So every week we will have a little bit less of the Schnitzel boys.
That's right. A little bit of a leaner Schnitzel every week.
That's right. Leaner. Oh, I like it.
Leaner.
Very nice.
Schnitzel bitte.
Leaner Schnitzel.
Leaner Schnitzel. Okay, you know who is a little bit leaner these days is the variety of champions in Deutschland. How about that for my championship segue?
Yeah.
I'm good at segues. Oh, yeah.
I mean,
step into a Slim Jim. Bayern München get their 10th straight title in a row. What a shocker. I should have put every year. I say I should put money on Bayern to win it because it's a safe bet. But I'm not a betting man, so I never do. But every year I miss out on free money.
I mean, how much does that pay out these
Probably
days? Can't be much.
$5 on like $1,000
$1,000 bet.
or something.
Yeah,
like that.
it's not to no one's surprise. Yeah. Bayern won the time. I mean, and really, this game. I mean, that doesn't happen that often, that the first and second meet up and a win can decide so this was sort of set up to be exciting, and then kind of like this whole season, it was a little lackluster, right? It wasn't all that, yeah.
Whack.
Dortmund got shafted a bit. They had a complaint. They should have had a second penalty, which would have made a difference. And it felt
have made that big of a difference, even if they wanted.
Well, at the time, right. It would would have just delayed
it a week.
Would have just delayed the inevitable. That's true. Yeah. No, I mean,
that's the sad thing about all
sort
this.
That's sort of the tragedy of it, And I mean, I was actually looking at because sort of I've been saying all season, Bayern are vulnerable. Dortmund should pounce, and I mean, I don't know. Bayern, they 75 points. That's pretty good. I mean, they've certainly had better seasons than this, but that's still a lot of points. And Dortmund, with their, as much as we've made fun of them for not having any defense, they're still averaging more than 2 points a game. They're like they have 63. So it's not like they've had a terrible season.
They're second place.
They're just second best, and we'll We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
what
It just
happens
has
next
not been, it hasn't been very exciting. Like Bayern, a lot could change. Lewandowski might leave. I think that's a real possibility.
Right? I think Real Madrid is sniffing around, I think. Or,
yeah.
I mean, but so might Erling Haaland. So
yeah, he's going to City, right? That seems almost certain now.
Has that been confirmed?
Man City. It's certainly not official, no. But
makes sense.
But it's been So anyway, we're not going to pretend that this was more exciting than than it was.
I guess it's fun. I guess it's a fun feat to win 10 in a row or something. I guess it's
that was definitely. I guess this was of the big leagues. They're now the only ones where anybody has done that, right? Like I think Juventus did 9.
Yeah, but again, what does that say? It's just so weird. Just with football in general, especially with Europe, it's the haves and the have-nots. Of really, over the last 10 years, it's been about the haves and the have-nots. And the haves are a small group. Spain and England. Spain is lucky to have 2 teams. But mostly like France, Italy, you name it. It's been a 1-team league for the last few seasons. England being the big exception because they've opened up their market to just anyone to buy into it. And it's just essentially it's a league of billionaires. And today I just read the article about how in England, I know it's not an English podcast, but in England, the UK government is establishing a whole new office just to regulate English football. And I think to essentially to Germanify it. I think they're trying to give the fans more of a say.
Oh, really?
They're regulating the ownership a little bit better. I think they're trying to rein it in a little bit.
Best of luck.
Yeah. Best of luck. Best of luck, my friend.
That toothpaste is not going back in the tube, I don't think. But
right, it's a massive money cow and a global super all-star league success. So it is what it is. But yeah, anyway, good job, Die Bayern, Sandma, Meister. Well,
and they were. I mean, and it's been
RB Leipzig. Yeah,
even for them, not that. It was kind of a
lackluster season for them.
Lackluster celebration too. I thought they were sort of like, nobody's surprised. They're still disappointed about the Champions League. They're not in the cup anymore.
Well, they doused Schreini on the ESPN sideline.
Yeah, that was really the highlight. Fun. Yeah,
because he's like, you've been here, you've won a few of these with us. You're our friend.
He deserves to get doused. Yeah,
but more power to him. Well done. Dortmund and the other clubs. Come on now, get your stuff going. And RB Leipzig. But the more excitement's on the rest of the table. So RB Leipzig lost to their Ostdeutsche neighbors, the Union Berlin. That's a surprising result. Good job for Union Berlin.
But well deserved, actually. Did you watch that game? It's Union should have had a penalty. Also, that I think the refs did not have a great weekend. But 2 of them. In the Dortmund game, the referee was very open and transparent about some things that he may have overlooked. I think he said that he would have wished that the VAR would have recommended a review for the second penalty, but the VAR did not. And so that referee was very transparent. And the referee in the Leipzig Union game, he got called over to the monitor. The VAR recommended a review, and he looked at it for a minute and a half and said, "Nope, this is not a penalty." To absolutely everybody's surprise. People, I know. People who even there's the Twitter account Colinas Erben. The German is a Twitter account that like sort of analyzes refereeing in Germany, but really internationally, and they always. That account, whoever runs that account, is always exceedingly polite and thoughtful and making room for differing viewpoints and interpretations. And so they were really struggling to they found polite ways to say, like, what the fuck was that? Like, this was really, we don't understand
how you can look at
this, how you can look at this for a minute and a half and decide it's not a penalty. So, but it didn't matter in the end because Union came back anyway to win the game. But that was, I think, 2 goals either in stoppage time or close to it. Right? It was very. So it was
More
kind
power
of
to him.
Yeah, it was kind of dramatic in its the way it unfolded. But Union really played very well and sort of deserved to win this game.
Well, as much as I criticize a club like Dortmund or Bayer Leverkusen or maybe even RB Leipzig not being able to keep up, I have the exact opposite praise for Union Berlin. I mean, they're a very small club, and they are doing exactly the same achievements almost exactly the same achievements all the other big clubs are doing. Like, they have been such a success story. I think a story that people aren't really focusing on too hard is just because they are a small club. And they didn't just get to the top flight, they came to play. I mean, there's 3 weeks left. I mean, they might be heading to Europe again. I believe they were in Europe already this year, weren't they?
I mean, right now they're in 6th place, so yeah.
They're in the Europa League spot. So good on you, Union Berlin. If you keep it up, you will become a big club, and maybe even the biggest club in Berlin, because Hertha, despite slipping, they finally got a big result in one of those 6-pointers.
Yeah.
What's really exciting in the Bundesliga right now is the other side of the table. We had Stuttgart Hertha. We had Bochum Augsburg, which we'll talk about in a bit. And then we had 1 or 2 others, right? But those are sort of the Hertha Stuttgart one was big. And Hertha got a good, confident 2-0 win, much to my surprise, over Pellegrino Matarazzo.
Yeah.
He's still in a playoff spot, so it's not, he's still got a shot. But unfortunately, this leaves Stuttgart in the relegation playoff zone with Hertha 4 points above, which is looking pretty decent for them.
3 games left, yeah. And Bielefeld lost on the road in Cologne 3-1. So yeah, for them it's looking quite bleak.
Yeah, it's looking like Armenia and Stuttgart are both looking to fight for that last basement spot.
To figure out who goes into the playoffs and who's going straight down. Yeah. Greuther Fürth now officially relegated, I think.
Terrible season.
Yeah, they were not. They still had a mathematical chance, I think, until this weekend. Now they do not.
Oh, there's 17 points. If you have more games than points, it's not looking good. If the amount of games you have almost doubles the amount of points you have,
yeah, they did not have good. I mean, we knew that they were, for a long time.
Julian Green wasn't strong enough to guide Goethe.
Is he? He's not starting for them, is he?
No, he hasn't been playing super much, I don't think. In the beginning of the season he was, but as of late, not really. I don't know, either injuries or form or whatnot. Who knows?
Fürth losing 1-4 to Leverkusen at home. Leverkusen really solidifying almost their Champions League spot. Although SC Freiburg also very similar to Union Berlin. They deserve similar
having a great
amounts of praise. Yeah, having a great season
under the great Christian Streich. Yeah, they're going for it. I mean, Freiburg and Union Berlin, there is a slight chance that one of those 2 clubs might even make in the Königsklasse, the Champions League this year.
Yeah, if RB Leipzig needs to, they're going to need a few more points to make that happen. Dortmund is in. No, Leipzig are 4th now. Leverkusen passed them.
Well, 3rd to 6th is separated between 5 points. So
Leverkusen,
Leipzig, Freiburg, and Union Berlin are 5 points between them. With Köln, just to point out, so also a nice secret little pot. Like Köln had a really good season too this year. Hoffenheim started off a little stronger. I think they're ending in their expected spot, 8th spot. Gladbach and Wolfsburg were able to slightly turn themselves around, so it's not a total disaster for both those clubs. They ended up in mid-table finishes, so they'll play next year, but there'll be no Europe for either of them. However, they'll still be in the top flight, so I'm sure they'll count their blessings with that. Bochum did it, I think. They essentially are...
Yeah, I mean, I think the 36 will be enough. 8 points. 8 points ahead of the but this was, if you want to just talk about that game for a minute, it's like that was not this was the second clunker in a row, really. Bochum Augsburg. It was I mean, that was really the chance. Bochum with a win would have been mathematically through and very comfortably would have been ahead of Gladbach and Wolfsburg in 11th place, and that would have been great, but they were not in this game. There were two really pretty clunky mistakes. The first one was a Maxim Leitch, just a terrible back pass that went awry, and then the second was a penalty that was really odd, where basically the defender, I think Suarez it was, basically the attacker was on his way out of the box, headed towards towards the midfield line, on his way out of the box, and Suarez lunged to catch him, foul him just right inside the box as he was trying to get out, and then the ref had no choice to give a penalty, and there was great protestations of him saying like, well, but he was on his, it's like, yeah, just don't foul him then.
Know your positional awareness.
So that was hard to watch. And then there was, Bochum played hard as they always do, but just looking very, very toothless for the second game in a row. And even though Simon Zoller is back from his injury, but I think for this season, it's fine. It's just, my worries are for next year, because I think, we'll see. We'll see who they can. Obviously, this is completely premature to speculate or worry about, but I just just don't know, because Bochum is a small team as well, and so there's a lot of players on that team that are probably bargains for other clubs, and I'm worried they're going to lose some key pieces, and then next season could be quite difficult. But it's too early for that. This season they did great, and they exceeded expectations, and they're pretty safe. Probably next week, we can make that official. Hopefully,
as the football ecosystem exists, it is only inevitable for clubs from smaller players like a Bochum that do well in the top flight to get poached by bigger clubs, and for clubs like Bochum to take the money and then find a way to sign someone on a free to replace them. It's just the ecosystem of football sometimes. So it can be, and Bochum specifically is known for the minute they have a shining player, just they're gone.
Yeah, people will pick them up. They did a great job this year to find players, because they really are.
Well, it's a great team. It's a team.
It's a good team, but they had a lot of depth in a way. That on each position they have alternatives, and when people were missing time, other people stepped up. It's been great, and so hopefully we can keep that up. But great year. Next week on the road in Dortmund, we'll see what's possible there. But
the neighbor derby, that'll be tough. But never say never. They're vulnerable in the back. You know what job posting is still available? A job that you pitched. This is a second beat to something you pitched before. But Manchester United is still looking for a head coach.
Oh no, it's Erik ten Hag. It's been announced.
Oh, it was? They already put pen to paper on that? Mm-hmm. All I saw an article was that he was denied any sort of the stuff he wanted, which is typical. And that. Oh yeah,
no. I think since then it's been confirmed. Yeah, he's it.
Erik ten Hag will lead Manchester United to a comfortable 6th place finish next year, and I look forward to that as well.
Shockingly, apparently Thomas Reis was really never in consideration.
Well, but you know what that means? Who's available is Ralf Rangnick. I wonder where he'll find himself next year.
Go back to Russia.
Let's go right back to Russia. He's going to take He's going to take Domenico Tedesco's old job.
Oh man.
Moscow. Or my thing, if I were the owners of Hertha Berlin, I'd hire Ralf Rangnick in a heartbeat. I'd be like, Ralf, take Hertha, turn it into a big city club.
I
think he would.
It's got a lot of work to do there.
No.
And now it looks like Bremen and Schalke are going to come back. So we're going to trade. We're going to trade Bielefeld and Fürth for Bremen and Schalke. I guess that's not going to be a lot of complaining about that.
No, bring them all back. And So for Ricardo Pepi, he's going to stay another season in the Bundesliga, perhaps. However, George Bello's looking like maybe he's going to have to sync with Bielefeld. We'll see where George Bello ends up with the American slant. Julian Green and Tillman will probably stay with Fürth because they played with them in the second division originally. Mm-hmm. But it looks like we might be losing with all the Americans playing on lower bottom clubs. It's looking like it's not over yet, but it's looking like we're just losing George Bello. So, George, I wish you the best of luck. Keep up, and then maybe find yourself either stay in the second division, which I'm not against. I think it would have been good for guys like Josh Sargent, Matthew Hoppe to maybe go in the second division for a season, or even a Ricardo Pepi if he sunk down.
Perhaps.
Maybe George Bello, maybe a season in the second division will do him good. We'll see.
I'm not a big George Bello. He never seemed all that good, but.
Why are you pooping on George Bello?
I know. I mean, I think he seems. I don't have anything against him, but
yeah, he's not the best left back in the world. But it's cool that he's going for it and make it. He's one of, as far as the national team goes, he's one of the only few left backs. We've got him, Sam Vines, and Anthony Robinson. Anthony Robinson just made the EFL Team of the Week, thankfully, and they both got promoted back up to the Prem over there in jolly old England. So good for them. All our left backs are in second division, we don't have any left backs playing in major clubs unless you count, of course, Serginho Dest.
Yeah, I mean, Dest can play left back. Joe Scally can play. Yeah, Joe Scally. I don't know what the problem is there, but
yeah. But again, those are people playing out of position for that. As far as natural left backs, we got George Bello, Sam Vines, and is that it? Oh, and
Jedi Robinson.
Jedi. Man, I don't think he's even seen the movies. He just likes the name Jedi, which blows my mind.
Jedi, right?
Cool. Well, anyway, so Bundesliga. So the excitement that's left is this: who's going to make it to Europe, and who is going to get sunk? On the bottom of the table, it's really just between Bielefeld and Stuttgart. I'm rooting for Stuttgart. I'm rooting for Pellegrino.
Probably. I mean, Hertha. Yeah. I mean, they really most fumble. Likely.
And then will Freiburg or Union Berlin sneak into a Champions League spot? Perhaps will Europa League spot.
Next week, Hertha is on the road at Bielefeld, so another huge game. And if Hertha were to win that, then definitely they would.
I think that's the end of it. And Stuttgart.
But on the flip side, if Bielefeld were to win that, then Hertha is right back in there.
Right back. So who do we want? We want Bielefeld to win. Stuttgart has Wolfsburg at home next week. That'll be that's kind of a how do you predict that game? I mean, Wolfsburg's had a sloppy season and they beat Mainz 5-0 on Friday.
They are. Who knows? They are. Who really knows? They are as they've taken on the mercurial personality of Max Kruse. Ever since he's arrived, it's been feast or famine for them. So who knows? Very hard to predict. But
Wolfsburg's been the great enigma roller coaster of the season. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with them. Cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, any last thoughts on Deutschland?
The Deutschland.
Deutschland.
I think that's it. We've it's been a good, not great season. I mean, as a Bochum fan, it's been an exceptional season.
Yeah. Depends who you're talking about. For Cologne, it's been a good season. For Union, it's been another good season. Depends on who you are. For Bayern, it's been not the best season they've ever had, but again, a respectable title-winning season. You'd wish, as a Bayern fan, you wish more of a challenge. You wish them to be challenged a little more. A
little more excitement.
Yeah, a little more excitement. Leipzig turned themselves around. Good on them. They saved their Königsklasse spot. And it seems like there aren't too many huge surprises. Everything is back in its proper order this year in the Bundesliga, especially with Werder Bremen and Schalke coming back. So the only thing that's left is Hamburg needs to find a way back out of the second division. We'll see. The two St. Pauli might be making it into the Bundesliga next year. I'd love to see that. It'd be good to have some sort of Hamburg club back in the Bundesliga.
Yeah, St. Pauli. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's still pretty close. I mean, I just said like Bremen and Schalke are coming back. Like that, obviously, is not guaranteed. I mean, Darmstadt, St. Pauli, even Hamburg, even HSV are still in the running. So,
So yeah, fifth spot.
this is also still it's still interesting. Yeah, still an interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty tight. And Nuremberg's right behind. Nuremberg is a traditional bigger club that has fallen on hard times.
Yeah.
Nuremberg, I might have said before, once the home club to Tony Sané, and also the home club to what great former LA Galaxy center back, Bjorn, who was also a longtime U.S. international, and then played with Toronto and currently plays with New England Revolution.
Who? Omar Gonzalez?
Omar Gonzalez was on
He played in Nuremberg? Oh, I had no idea.
He did not play at Nuremberg. He signed for Nuremberg. He was on the books at Nuremberg, and he had a terrible injury, and he could never play for Nuremberg. Or am I wrong? Let's see. I might be mixing them up. Yeah, I don't see him listed.
I did not know that.
You know what? I might be wrong. I might be thinking of someone else. I just looked it up. I don't see anything. I think I just made that up. I don't see. Oh, no, you're right. No, he was right here. He was on loan to Nuremberg. Here we go. In January of 2012, Gonzalez was loaned to FC Nuremberg of the Bundesliga until mid-February. During his first training session with his new club, Gonzalez suffered a torn anterior cruciate ligament in his left knee. So on his first, get this, after a collision with national teammate Timmy Chandler.
Wow.
He immediately headed back to the U.S. So he was on loan at Nuremberg, went to one training session. Timmy Chandler gave him a freaking ACL in practice, and and then he never to come back. He just did USA.
Welcome to Germany, Omar.
Welcome to Germany, Omar. Take this. Tell Jürgen Klinsmann I said hi. Yeah. So, more on him. So Nuremberg, also a traditional big club, could make their way back to the top flight, perhaps.
Nuremberg, when I was a young person, Nuremberg was the record holder for the most title. The Rekordmeister. That's always who they refer to Nuremberg as. But then, of course, that record got obliterated.
Yeah.
By Bayern over the years. But at the time, they used to be a very successsuccessful club.
Well,
I mean, we're talking a long time ago.
Maybe even pre-Bundesliga. But we're talking but with German football, at least since like the 50s or 60s, it's always been Bayern München and someone else, Bayern München and Gladbach, Bayern München and Köln, Bayern München and Dortmund more recently, It's usually Bayern München and someone else, but that secondary dominance tend to ebbs and flows way more, and Bayern München's done a good job keeping their
We're looking. We're in the market. We're going to keep looking for that second team.
Bayern München and Bochum?
It was
maybe, and Bochum?
Yes. You heard it here first.
A club like Kaiserslautern.
And last. You heard it here first and last.
They fell. First and last, Bochum is the new dominant second German team. Step aside, Borussia Dortmund. Keep your 80,000 fans. We've got our 24,000 fans, or whatever it is, at our stadium. How many people are fit in that Rhein-Energie-Stadion?
Like 40,000, I think.
Oh, that's pretty respectable. That's like
it was one of the first. This was actually one of the first all soccer stadiums in Germany when it was first built. Back then a lot of the other stadiums still had a track
and field
around them, and we're sort of multi-purpose, and so no, it's still a great place to see a game. It's awesome.
Nice, very good. Anyway, that has been your Bundesliga roundup with the Schnitzel boys. On to home territory. We had a wacky Major League Soccer.
What
weekend.
a weekend! What a weekend!
Bjorn, take it away.
Well, we'll start with the last game of the slate. NYCFC, my beloved NYCFC had their fifth, as Matt Doyle called it, the fifth home opener of the season. because
was it Stanford, right?
This was at Citi Field.
Oh, right.
The other baseball stadium.
How were you there for that?
I was there for that. And a lot of things happened. Many things happened at Citi Field.
First. How is it to watch a soccer game there? I've never seen a soccer game.
Yeah, it's
between that and Yankee Stadium. Which one's better?
Well, Citi Field is the nicer stadium, I would say. Citi Field has dramatically better food than Yankee Stadium. More on that later. And
I'm surprised to hear that because the food at Yankee Stadium is not bad. I remember it being pretty good.
Citi Field is superior. Yeah, I mean Yankee Stadium has also improved, but Citi Field is better. Citi Field has a lot of Pat LaFrida branded burgers and meats. There's a Shake Shack in there. There's now a Pig Beach barbecue outpost. David Chung's chicken sandwiches are available, which I'll talk about. I'll talk more about that later. And and it's just a nice. It's the architecture is a little nicer. I don't know. It's the nicer stadium. However, I would say from a soccer standpoint, the sightlines are actually better in Yankee Stadium. If you're in there on TV, Citi Field looks much better. The camera angles are much better. Yankee Stadium is really, really troubled in terms of the TV angle, which I think is part of the reason why it's judged so harshly by people everywhere, saying this field is a joke. I think the TV camera angle of Yankee Stadium makes it look worse than it is. And from a sideline perspective, actually, I think it's better than Citi Field. A lot of like the seats where we were at behind the goal, you cannot see a big chunk of you can't see the end line, and so to the left you're really missing a bunch of. You can't see if a ball's out of bounds. If somebody's takes a corner, you can't see the corner taker. On the other side, it's even worse. There's like an upper deck where you're missing like a quarter of the field that you can't see.
Yeah, an upper decker.
So
they call that an upper decker, I think.
They don't even for this. They don't even sell tickets there. But for because this was our third game at Citi Field, and we had a playoff game there, and so a lot of people were complaining that had those seats because you're missing like a quarter of the field that you just can't see. So that part is more problematic. Also, my seats, I'm generally in Yankee Stadium. I'm right underneath the bleachers, the supporters section. So I really like that. I like to have my assigned seating. I like to be in the same place every time. I don't.
So you know where you're going. I mean, that's hard if the team keeps playing in different stadiums, though. That's really hard.
Well, I'm saying like in terms of Yankee Stadium, if you can get a supporter section ticket and it's just general admission. I like to be in my specific seat, but I do like to be close to the supporter section because I do get a little ornery myself. So
yeah, it's good. I love the singing and the dancing. I love being a sports section.
I like to be close to it. And now and in Citi Field, the seats where we were at were kind of on the opposite end of the supporter, so it was not quite as close. And and the last time we played at Citi Field was that playoff, was also against Toronto, and it was that playoff game where Ronald Matarrita had that total mind melt and gave up a penalty with 3 minutes to go for no reason at all. And so there were some poor memories. And so now it's Toronto again. And the first thing that happened as I arrived, I was there with a couple friends of mine, and we were talking to each other, and there was a group of people behind us, and one of them said, "Hey, are you on this podcast?" And so this was the first. This had never happened. This had not happened to me previously. That anybody that I was identified by a listener, yeah. And so that was.
But I'm wondering. But hold on, I'm wondering which podcast.
Well, it was. I mean, initially he said Blue City Radio because that's I've made
exactly. I was gonna say it's not our podcast,
but actually he did ask me about you. He was like, "So
really?
Your partner."
What do you say?
And maybe we can just interject this and answer this question. His name was Sam. Shout out if he's listening.
Thank you, Sam.
He said, "So your partner's a Red Bull fan?" And I said, "Yes, Stefan is." And he said, "Why? Why is?" And I sort of laughed. I was like, "Well, I mean, it's like," but he really wanted to know. It's like, why is he from Jersey? Is he like? There was a very, very limited number of potential reasons that he would accept for it to be.
I'll interject because I'm a real soccer fan. That's why.
Oh.
I've explained this a million times, but I became a Red Bulls fan in 2009 when they were the only team in the world in New York. And then when NYCFC came to town, I challenged my fandom. I went over to NYCFC to check out. Yeah. And all it did was just re-strengthen. When you fall in love with someone, you can't break that love. I've just been too thick and thin through someone. Right. You can't just quit that. I love the Red Bulls, and also in addition to that, I love going out to the stadium. I just love the Red Bulls. I love the game day experience, and I love the team. I love the philosophy. I love I love the fact that they create players. Like that's a huge, especially if we're there's only one Manchester United, or Manchester City is more apropos. Like there's top of the food chain. Like a good club, like a good American club. Brazilian and Argentinian clubs and Mexican club, they do this. You got to create players. You can't pretend to be Manchester. You can't go off and just buy a bunch of Argentinians or whatever, like so many MLS clubs do. And more power to them. I love that that's working for them. But personally, I think it's the responsibility of an American club to create, find talent, create American or talent otherwise, not even American. Like a Christian Caceres, Sean Nealis. Aaron Long isn't like from our academy. He was picked up. No one wanted him. Red Bulls took him and made him the best center, like one of the best U.S. center backs.
Center backs in the world.
No, in America, one of the best U.S. Right. Like Aaron Long could very well start the World Cup. You know what I mean? And I love
very
the fact
possible,
that,
especially the way that people drop like injured. Flies, injury-wise. Yeah.
And because of that, I'm just like, the Red Bulls Academy always consistently, along with FC Dallas, got high marks, and I just want to give props to NYCFC. Doing a lot of good work with their academy too. I think there was Grant Wall interviewed Joe Scally on his podcast, and Joe Scally talked about him and Gio Reyna meeting at the NYCFC academy when they were both like 12, and then they know each other from that. So they're like good friends in Germany, and they play in the top flight. But they met at NYCFC academy,
yeah.
And even though they didn't really play much there, as long as there's some sort of academy there to nurture players and grow, then that's what we're supposed to do. So when I see an MLS club that doesn't do that, which is plenty of them, by the way, and when I see an MLS club that just buys and has a team full of foreigners, it's like, like Arsenal has 11 foreigners on their team, but they're Arsenal. It's the best 11 foreigners they could find in the world for millions of dollars. Why does an American club, it's not the NASL, it's like players can play, like get Americans to play. So that's my little soapbox, and that's why I'm very happy to be a New York Red Bulls fan, because they put forth effort to create talent, and I appreciate that.
All right.
So that's why. And
there you have it.
And they also play well as a team unit, which we'll talk about in a bit. They had a great game against Orlando over the weekend, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. Let's keep up the NYCFC, and it is very clearly being recognized that finally we're working it. We're working it.
That was completely unexpected, and anyway, it was a very pleasant group. So even though we didn't love the location of the seats, had a great time with everybody around there. There was this is a thing that has now happened several times. People betting on corners. Have you heard about this?
No.
Betting money on the amount of corners in a game, which really really adds a layer of interest and fun. Yeah, prop bets. And it's like this guy was saying how
for the fans at home, a prop bet for professional gamblers like me is like a side bet of something.
Oh, are you a gambler? Is that did you just say that?
I've gambled. No, I mean I've gambled many times in my past. I've gone to Resorts World Casino in Queens many times. I just had to stop going because I kept losing all my money.
Oh, you had a little bit. It became a problem.
Not a huge problem, but one of those things where it's like I had a realization where it's like I've been here 3 times in a row and I left feeling like shit 3 times in a row, so I nip it in the butt. But I went to Vegas a year ago and I played a little poker and I gamble sometimes. I'm not a big gambler, but But prop bets
I used to play a lot of poker. This is many years ago, but yeah.
Were you part of the 2008 poker boom like I was, the online poker boom?
No, I was. This was much. I guess I preceded that. I was a little earlier. And Yeah, I quit when my wife, my then girlfriend, moved into my apartment, and at some point I came home from Atlantic City at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I should probably stop doing this."
Like, you can't do that. The Borgata?
No, I was at the Borgata. I played a lot at the Trump Plaza, actually.
Right.
This was before before anybody ever thought that guy would be president.
No, but I never played the Borgata. I mean, I used to go to the Borgata to play roulette a lot. I get free rooms there and stuff. Those comp rooms, which is easy. By the way.
Okay.
Sounds cool, but the reality is, the minute you show up at a casino, they're dying to give you free rooms. So it's not that expensive. But now I get free rooms in Vegas. And last time I went, I didn't gamble once. I went just to see some Cirque shows and just to enjoy myself and enjoy the hotel and swim. And I did not gamble once. So I controlled and I did okay.
Well, I feel like it's Las Vegas has changed a lot in that way. It's not as gambling. There's many more things to do now. Than get. I mean, you can very easily spend your time there not gambling.
Right, which is what I did. But I mean, gambling's everywhere.
I approve of that strategy.
They would love for you to gamble. It's not like, and Vegas might get an MLS team, which would be fun because I would love to take trips to Vegas to watch.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. I would go.
Yeah, I'd be a fan of the Vegas MLS team.
Anyway, all this to say, the prop bet, the side bet, that a couple of this guy behind us.
How is it done? You're in the fans, and you guys just take cash out, and how does that work?
No. He goes to some website. He has this. He was like, oh yeah, I put X amount of money on there being 10 corners,
right,
in the game or more,
right,
and he just told us, but then you get invested. You're like, oh my god! And then every corner is exciting, whether or not it's for anyway. So, but we didn't get to 10. He lost his money in this case. But anyway, we had a good time. But then the game did not go well at all. It was as has happened a lot recently for NYCFC. We started out promising, looked very dominant the first 10 minutes, and then conceded really 2 quick goals that were kind of weird, like one. First of all, Alfredo Morales was playing center back, and he is not a center back.
Not a center back.
He is a midfielder.
He's a 6.
And this has happened. This has happened before, and it did not go well. And now we did it again.
Are you just thin at center back, or what's going on?
Well, everybody's hurt. Maxime Chanot is still injured. Thiago Martins also, I guess, picked up a knock. And even though that hasn't been, they keep saying he's not officially on the injury list. Yeah, and I guess Vuk is not.
Play Vuk, man.
It's not
fan.
First. Yeah, he didn't trust him to start. Vuk came into the game eventually, but Ronnie did not trust him to start the game. So he put Alfredo Morales into that position. I also think there's this guy on NYCFC too, Samuel Owusu. Who's been looking quite good, I thought, at center back for them.
Yeah,
and this was actually also. This was speculated the day because NYCFC 2 was playing the day before and Owusu was starting. And then people on Twitter were like, oh, that must mean Thiago Martins is ready to go because otherwise, Owusu may have been held out. But that's not what that meant. What it meant was that Alfredo Morales was going to play center back. And he kind of looked a little poorly on the first goal, and then the second goal was a great pass over the top or basically around Alex Collins, and a great finish from Jesus Jimenez. Is that his name? The number 9 of Toronto. And then before we knew it, we were down 2-0, and
Jesus Jimenez had 2 goals. Yeah.
And things looked bleak, and I thought, Toronto at Citi Field. Also, there were so many curses, as people were pointing out, how we had never won at Citi Field in the previous 2 games. We had never won while wearing the new orange Oh, I should have worn that today. The orange, the new orange away kit. We were wearing that, I guess, maybe as a nod to the Mets, because it's the Mets colors, orange and blue. And so anyway, we had never won while wearing that, and so we were down 2-0. And so I thought, this is it. And then, even though we had one, then again VAR again disallowed a goal, and it really felt like. So
you're bearing the lead a little bit here. 9 goals were scored in this game. 9.
Well, I'm getting there. This is I'm setting the stage. I'm setting the stage for this incredible comeback that you now spoiled for the listeners.
They know the scores.
They don't know the scores.
Fine. Okay. Gotcha.
So you're telling me to hurry it up. Okay, fair enough. So what happened is, we got 1 goal disallowed. Then Tati scored on a beautiful assist from Thiago. So it was 1-2 at halftime. And then the second half just was incredible.
Yeah, so you broke the curse.
We broke the curse. We scored and scored and scored. Exploded. Now, also,
what happened at halftime, do you think? What kind of halftime team talk? What happened?
Well, the team, Ronnie said after that he just told the team to be patient and keep doing what they're doing, because they were dominating. They had a lot of chances that missed, or Alex Bono, who is not that great a goalkeeper, in my opinion, had a good game. He had a couple of great saves, and so it felt sort of like Seattle all over again. But then in the second half, the floodgates opened, and all this happened. So I don't know what Ronnie said, but what I did when the second half started is that I ate a David Chung's chicken sandwich. My friend came back with a set of, there were 3 of us, and he had one for each of us, and it's the David, and I guess this is famous, the Fook.
I've never heard of it, but
David Chung Fook sandwich, or whatever it's called, and it is spicy as fuck.
Fook
sandwich? It's FUK. It says on the, I don't know, but this was what made this already surreal experience even more surreal. That I was eating this extremely, I'm not a wuss when it comes to spicy foods. Right. I'm pretty weathered in that regard, but this was just like for a chicken sandwich that you get in a stadium setting. This was just incredibly.
Did you ask for a chicken sandwich? Did your friend come back and be like, "Hey,
I was not." For you? It was sort of like, "Oh, we're gonna go. Oh, there's this David Chung. We're gonna go." And I was talking to somebody else. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna go get these." I was like, "Sure, I'll have one." I don't know. I was just sort of like along for the ride, and then I got handed this thing, and I started eating it. And
so how spicy are we talking about? What are we talking about?
It was very intensely spicy, and all 3 of us, me and my 2 other friends, actually, we today were exchanging texts about. We all had some kind of lingering effects. There were some digestive issues.
Dang.
Subsequently,
Man,
I woke up in the middle of the night with a pretty serious heartburn issue.
Oh God! Were there jalapenos on it and everything?
Yeah, there was all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But it was just this. This what happened. One of those.
That's what
I don't know. I don't know if I contributed to this turnaround, but it was.
You did. It blew up. You ate fire, and the team was like,
and the team,
they're eating fire, so we're going to eat fire.
It was just. I will just never forget this game, because it was like kept scoring goals, celebrating, and so completely distracted. But then every once in a while, being like, "Oh my God, the sandwich is so fucking hot." I don't know. And then another goal. Yeah.
Was it so distracting that you didn't realize that you witnessed the greatest unicorn of all, a Michael Bradley goal?
Well, that was a little later. After that, we went up 5-2.
You're never going to see that again. So, yeah.
Yeah, we 5-2, and Gabriel Pereira, the new Brazilian winger, he scored his first goal, and we had.
So the whole time you're like, "Woo! Ah!" You're like fanning. Your
tongue, it was an odd combination of sensations. And then
when in Queens, man, Queens will F you up, bro. Queens will F you up, bro.
And then we almost gave it all away in the last couple of minutes. Alfredo Morales got a second yellow and got sent off. And then Vuk came in and then gave up 2 goals on set pieces, one of them to Michael Bradley. If Michael Bradley scores a header, you know you're in trouble. And so it was a little tense at the end, but we held on for a 5-4 victory. And it was one of those one of those games I'll never forget for a variety of reasons, and a great time at Citi Field.
That sounds amazing. Well, that's a great game. The New York Red Bulls, the team that I am a legit fan of, went to Orlando and dominated with a very comfortable 3-0 victory.
Yeah.
Goal from Luquinhas, almost a goal from Patrick Klimala, who unfortunately was offside. Still no goal. But a good, confident 3-0 victory. And again, just like I like them, a good team game. They're all on it, 11 players. Christian Caceres rebounding his own goal, stepping up. It's a positive sign of things to come. So it's good that both of your teams are winning.
You've won all of your road games, right? Four road games, 4 wins.
I believe so. I think we only have 1 loss all year. I think we had and it was like a last minute goal thing. Let's see. We beat the New England Revolution. We tied to Montreal at home. That was sort of the wonk result. Right. But we beat Orlando in Orlando. We beat New England in New England. And let's see what else we got going back. Tied at home to Columbus. We beat Toronto in Toronto, and then Minnesota beat us at home, also disappointing. And we beat San Jose in San Jose. So yeah, our road games, although we lost 6-1 to LAFC, but that was a preseason friendly, so it doesn't really count. So yeah, we you're right. I think it was about 4 road games. We won all of them. So we have a stadium, but we don't need it because we play well on the road. When is our big game, by the way? When is us versus us? Is that coming up?
Not for a little while. I will look. Keep talking about it. I will look.
But yeah, and then other results over the weekend. Okay, it's July 17th is our next game, I think. That is a little
yeah. Summertime. Thankfully, it's only twice now. It used to, I don't enjoy
3 or 4 times. Yeah, don't ruin a thing. You know what I mean? It should only be twice a year.
Yeah.
Don't ruin a rivalry.
It's been multiple times, and that's not. So it's July, and then September 17th, my mom's birthday. We're going to play my mom's birthday.
That is my nephew's birthday.
Look at that.
Hey, same birthday.
Also a Virgo.
Oh, I guess. Very, very cool. But as far as other results, we had some wacky results. I'm trying to think what the MLS results were like this weekend. If anything really stuck.
San Jose beat Seattle.
4-3.
Miami beat Atlanta.
Yeah.
Charlotte got a point at Colorado. The bad teams are not as bad as we thought they might be. We gotta admit. We got to admit that I thought Charlotte was going to be a total dumpster fire. They have not been. Miami, now that they're not starting Gonzalo Higuain anymore, are doing better. Cincinnati lost at home to LAFC, but they also have shown some signs of life. So we don't have these absolute dumpster fire pushover teams anymore. In the West, Austin is in first place.
Yeah,
Austin
Austin's
FC.
having a great season. Good on them.
Yeah.
LAFC is in first place, but Austin's in second place, right behind them. But good on for Austin for an expansion club in a sec. After usually expansion years a rough year. Yeah. They're coming out swinging this year, and I'm excited.
They've had a little bit of an assist from their schedule. We'll have to see if they can. I mean, they beat Vancouver. Vancouver really looks like they are struggling. New England lost again on the road to DC. New England is they're in 10th place right now, or 13th. They're
right above
very
Cincinnati.
far behind. And we're getting to that point. We're getting to that point in the year where it's still sort of early days, and you still want to be like, but it's we're like a quarter in. It's like 8, 9.
Yeah. The
8-9
second half of the
games.
season
So
is the season. So don't count out New England right now. But over the weekend, Richie Williams did the press conference, not Bruce Arena. I think he just didn't want to. I think he's just had enough. But don't count out the New England Revolution. Bruce always has a couple tricks up his sleeve. But DC, the big MLS news, we're done talking results, is DC United got rid of their coach, Losada, which was kind of an obscure hire anyway. And the criticism is he was just way too much of a micro manager. Like you'd have to weigh in every week and your diet and blah, blah, blah. Kind of like what Gabriel did in Atlanta. Now, and those are both Argentinian managers. Now, I as a fan, I'm like, sure, I'm fine with that. I don't know why MLS that's the second coach to be fired because they were quote unquote too strict with their and the players' union had a problem with it. And here's sort of a kind of a philosophical question: as a fan, whose side are you on, the coach or the players? Is it too crazy that a team that you pay $1,000 for season tickets, their coach demands them not to get fat during the year and demands them to eat right and make sure, because it leads to better recovery and leads to better physical shape for the year? And like, if a coach asks that of your players, is that crazy or is that not crazy?
But with this kind of thing, right? It's the delivery and the details are important, right? Like if it's you as a coach, you need to get buy-in from your players, right? It's not like NYCFC's players are fat and don't work out.
But they're athletes.
It's most players, most teams find ways to deal with that kind of thing without people wanting to quit over it. I don't know. I mean, it's I don't know the details of this of the relationship, but I think there is a little bit of a
Julian Gressel on his podcast laid out those details.
And
he said what I said. He's like, he was intense. He expected a lot of us on a private time and our professional time. But he wasn't against it. He was saying it's like, and I felt like I recovered better. He's like, I was in better shape. Julian Gressel was not against it. He didn't say he didn't offer much more specific than that. He just said it was very, very intense. Pretty much you have to write your very specific diet, weigh in, and if you're not, and if you're too heavy after weigh in, there are fines. There are player fines. Like you have to pay for it. That kind of stuff, And he was just like, I felt like I recovered faster because I was under extreme physical regiment. And it just makes you think as a fan, it's like, shouldn't they always be under an extreme physical regimen, at least during the season? They're professional athletes. So, but I understand the fines maybe being against the union, but I'm curious. It's just an interesting gray area for me. Like the players have rights, obviously, but they're advocating for them not to be like at Manchester City and clubs like that, and at Manchester United, they probably have the same rules, and it just goes with the territory. But here they're like, you know what? Like we're not allowed to be that strict here because we're a little more chill. And I'm like, I don't know if I love that.
Well, I think it sort of depends on, I think, and I'm just talking generally here, but there's different styles of leadership, right? Some people want to be more authoritarian, while some people, and it, if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I guess DC decided it wasn't working, and I think it's not because of fines and weigh-ins; it's because of results, right? In the end, if DC was third in the table, he would have kept his job. And
he might have. I think he lost the locker room. Yeah. But he was a very obscure hire. His only experience was at Beerschot in the Belgian second division, I believe. So it's like, good on you for thinking outside the box, but it didn't work. So on to the next one. But yeah, so that's sort of the big DC United news was them, because it was kind of unexpected. It's very early, and DC United
it's early in the year.
They're what? They're 8th spot or something. Not
11. Yeah,
they're 11. But still, New England's 13th. They didn't get rid of Bruce. So just wanted to bring that up. DC United. Fred
Briand, former NYCFC center back, has been promoted to is now an assistant on the first team. So an assistant coach.
You know what great German-American player has been promoted to assistant coach is Jermaine Jones.
What?
Our old friend Jermaine Jones is now the assistant coach of the U.S. Under-19 men's national team. Good on you, Jermaine. I love you.
That is shocking.
I want you to be involved.
He is.
That dude had a restraining order from his ex-wife because he thought she was cheating on him with some TV star, who apparently ended up not being the case. And he put the whole thing out on Instagram, and I love him for it because Jermaine Jones plays with his freaking heart and his head. I love Jermaine Jones.
I probably would have voted him least likely to become a coach.
yeah, me too. But he's been putting his heart.
Surprising, yeah.
But that's what he's been focusing on. He went to Eintracht Frankfurt, his old stomping grounds, to shadow the coaching staff. He went and got his coaching certificates. I think he's been coaching at the Orange County Blue Stars, or at least playing or something. He's been hustling. He's trying to get
That's
in there.
great. Oh, good for him. I had no idea. That's incredible. Well,
so he is now part of the U.S. men's national team setup. Thank God, because we need his. I would love for him to be an assistant coach of the U.S. men's national team because we need his grit. We need his Germanness. All right, he just says it how it is. I love Jermaine Jones, like a good German, never cared about repercussions of being honest about anything. So he would just be like, I remember him specifically calling out Jordan Morris for not leaving Seattle because Jordan Morris had an offer to go to Werder Bremen and he turned it down to stay in Seattle. And Jermaine Jones just went on national TV. It's just like, you kidding me? Staying for a dog? Go to Werder Bremen. What is this? What kind of mentality is that?
Yeah, him and Klinsmann saw completely eye to eye. Yep.
So good on you, Jermaine Jones. Anyway, MLS has been wacky. I'm glad NYCFC came out on top. I'm glad it was a fun experience. Do you have any lasting thoughts of MLS or U.S. soccer?
I guess I have a question for you. This is more a U.S. men's national team question.
We have some friendlies coming up, right?
Well, what's your take on the goalkeeper situation? Are you concerned?
Oh, yes, I am.
I
like Matt Turner. I think Matt Turner is a great goalkeeper. I want Matt Turner to be our number one. However, A, is injured. And B, he's about to not play again for a little while. That is
most likely, yes.
It would have been nice if Matt Turner waited till after the World Cup before he made a move like that. However, in a situation like that with Arsenal, you got to strike while the iron's hot. I think I was literally watching highlights over the weekend. West Ham versus Chelsea, right? That Christian Pulisic got that last minute winner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But West Ham's goalkeeper is Łukasz Fabianski, who's such an old school, like English Premier League veteran keeper. Used to be Arsenal's second choice keeper as well once upon a time.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he's like a great Premier League. So literally, Łukasz Fabianski made me think of Matt Turner. I'm like, well, that's what Matt Turner's about to become. He's about to become like a long-term English Premier League high-level professional goalkeeper. Maybe he won't start Arsenal, but then maybe he can find himself on a club like West Ham or something and be playing week in and week out and just become like a Casey Keller type, which is what we need. So in the long run, it's good what he's doing. However, immediately it's unfortunate. Now, it's not a disaster. Like Matt Turner is still in good shape. He'll only be a couple months cold when the World Cup comes around. He'll have plenty of warm-up matches. I think Ethan Horvath is in great form. I think when Ethan Horvath plays, I think he's a decent option too. I'm not a Zach Steffen.
Well, he's not a starter either, Horvath currently.
No, but he played a few games in a row, and he should have won his spot back because I thought he played well. I think the original goalkeeper was just the first choice, so he got a spot back. But Ethan Horvath, this last round, did not lose his spot due to performance, which is good. He really, really put himself in there and earned his set of games. Like when Ethan Horvath is on game, like he had a great that game against Mexico over the summer. He was a freaking beast. He was an amazing goalkeeper during that game. Ethan Horvath has it in him to be a great keeper. So between Matt Turner and Horvath, I think we're okay. But I am not a Zach Steffen fan, so I would not like to see Zach Steffen be our starting guy because he's just not playing enough. He's cold. He's too casual. He's full of mistakes. The same problem we always get from Zach Steffen. I would much rather Matt Turner be in goal,
But are you comfortable with either of those other two guys if they are not starters regularly for their teams?
Which ones? Horvath? Which guys?
Horvath or Turner.
Yeah, all three goalkeepers. All three of our goalkeepers are bench warming goalkeepers. That is crazy to me.
Well, shouldn't we have a starter, or shouldn't the U.S. national team have a starter that's actually a starter?
Are you advocating for Sean Johnson?
Yes.
I think Sean Johnson's fine. I don't think he's bad. I think Brad Guzan is off the table now as well because of his injury.
He is. Yep.
And it's, I mean, the only other wild card option would be play Slonina. Slonina's playing week in and week out.
But he is now flirting with the Polish national team. No.
More reason to maybe play him at the Nations League this summer. And if I'm Gaga Slonina, although he's Polish by background, he's from, I don't know where he's from originally, but I think he's born and raised here in the States. I think he's American born, right? So obviously I'm not going to play identity politics, but it makes sense for him to play for the U.S. national team. It is his homeland. And I hope, because we have this goalkeeper deficit, what's stopping from us playing a 17-year-old for a little bit? Bring him in. Maybe this is the beginning of a very long and successful tenure of perhaps one of our best goalkeepers, maybe.
So you would rather have a 17-year-old than Sean Johnson?
Hold on. What's the circumstance here? A 17-year-old that is Slonina's first game, our first game at the World Cup? Or did he play all summer first, and then he's playing the World Cup?
Your choice.
The first scenario, no. His first game, no. You can't just throw him in the World Cup.
I mean,
however,
that should not be true for any. Nobody's first game should be the opener of the World Cup.
But if he spends this summer playing the two Nations League games and the two friendlies rock solid, and he's really working with our team, then hey, maybe let it ride. I don't know. Maybe let it ride. There's probably going to be more games between the summer and the fall anyway. If it keeps going, the other three keepers have not been. It was their spot to lose, and all three of them lost it. You know what I mean? Horvath went to the bench for some reason. Zach Steffen stayed on the bench. He did not get a loan. And Matt Turner, the only consistent playing dude, said, peace, I'm going to go move to the bench again. You know what I mean? They all lost their spots. So Slonina's not doing that. Slonina's playing week in and week out. And I love Sean Johnson, don't get me wrong, but he's a professional, solid goalkeeper, but an amazing goalkeeper he is not. He's not like a top, he's not like, you don't look at Sean Johnson and think he sets himself up from the rest. He is a pretty solid professional goalkeeper. He does a really good job, but I would say he's just kind of part of maybe just the top edge of the batch of American goalkeepers that exist. Tim Melia was really well touted once upon a time, and other keepers like that. I would love to see Stefan Frei get a cap. I mean, he's eligible. I think Stefan Frei is also a great shot stopper. I mean, if we need to give someone a shot, maybe give him a shot. But the goalkeeper situation is unfortunate. But I think the only thing I want to offer is Zach Steffen is not convincing me, and I want to see Matt Turner back there. That's what I want to see. Yeah,
I mean, the other scenario is because Greg Berhalter loves Zach Steffen.
Right.
The other scenario is that Zach Steffen leaves Man City and gets a spot somewhere where he starts. That's another possibility. I mean, I'm going to say I'd be surprised if he holds his spot at City, because he's really had some pretty rough.
That was a huge. He cost him the FA Cup. He cost him the FA Cup semifinal with a huge blunder. So I mean, on Grant Wall's podcast, he was saying that could very well be his last game for Man City. I don't know if we'll see. And he did mention he's going to seek a loan next year, and now that might be maybe a loan to Perm, which I'd actually be fine with. He needs to play. I felt his work at Fortuna Düsseldorf wasn't done. It's a shame he was only there for part of the season. I would love to see him do a loan like that again or something. Mm-hmm. He just needs to play, man, because that dude is not a finished product. He is too cold and too casual to not be playing week in and week out. You know what I mean?
All right.
And just that's my 2 cents. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it needs to be sorted out. I don't think you want to have somebody who's on the bench. I think, I think Matt Turner clearly is the number one. But he's been out injured, and he's not going to get to play that much at Arsenal, and so I think you need somebody else who's ready. And Slonina. I have not seen that much of him. I can't really speak with great authority on his where he is at right now. I mean, clearly he has a great talent and clearly he has a bright future ahead of him. But maybe this World Cup's maybe coming a little early for him. I think Sean Johnson's been very solid ever since he had a not great first half of last season, but then was very, very good throughout. And he used to sort of have this annual blunder where like there would be one game where it'd just be like, what happened? But that again, knock on wood, has not happened in a long time. And he's much improved. His distribution is much improved. He's a great shot stopper. He's not always super commanding of the box or quick enough off his line. I think that's his main weakness. But I think he deserves more of a look than he's gotten. I would say. I think he would be more of a choice than people give him. What am I trying to say? He's a better contender than he. I don't think anyone really considers him a potential starter in the World Cup, and I think people should maybe.
Well, I mean, there's a chance he'll be on the roster. It's really between those four, maybe five, with Slonina.
Yeah,
it's between Horvath.
But I think more than beyond just being on the roster, somebody other than. If Stefan and Turner are in fact going to be subs on their respective teams, it needs to be somebody ready to go, and so that person needs to be cultivated. There's not a lot of time left, so whoever that option is going to be needs to be figured out.
I would agree. I would agree with that. If Stefan and Turner are on the roster, then the third choice should be Sean Johnson. So simply because unless Horvath starts playing again all of a sudden, because Horvath is like, there's no point to have three bench keepers on your bench. Two is and have a week in week out starter like a Sean John to be there.
And whoever that person is also needs to get more game time with the national team before the World Cup, because you need to have somebody who's ready to go.
Once upon a time, it's another American stuff. Casey Keller was on the bench at Tottenham Hotspur. He lost a spot to English national team goalkeeper Paul Robinson at the time, and he needed some game time. He needed to play. I think the U.S. World Cup was coming up. This would have been maybe the 06 World Cup. My time could be a little off, but he got himself a 6-week loan to Southampton, where he was their starting goalkeeper in the Prem for just like 6 weeks before, and then he got some games, and he went back to Tottenham, sit on the bench. We played his cup games and whatnot. But honestly, like a loan like that is rare because he was just filling in for someone who was injured, and they got like a veteran keeper to start.
Right.
Like I would love for the English Premier League season to start with a Matt Turner or a Zach Steffen or both to get like a month-long loan to another club for the month, so they can play 4 or 5 games in a row before the World Cup camp starts. And I would love for that to happen. So maybe that'll happen. We'll see. I mean, big clubs like that have affiliates too. I don't know exactly who their affiliates are, but
I think something needs to be worked out, because you can't just throw somebody who hasn't played into the opener or World Cup.
Or you do, because you have to, and you have no choice. It's like tough that my goalkeepers are bench warmers, and we have a game against Iran at 8. So it's like, Stefan, do your best, warm up, get ready. Iran is coming for you. So do it up. Cool. Well, yeah.
All right.
So thanks for that question. It's one of the many enigmas of the U.S. men's national team. At the very top of the field and the very back of the field is just 2 big question marks for the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, very much so. Pepe, our man Ricardo Pepe. He's
gone,
because I watched the Augsburg game. He was nowhere to be found. Yeah, I mean,
no.
Yeah, we'll see.
He really did have, like, he was great for those 2 or 3. He does have it in him. But again, Klinsmann was right. He's like Klinsmann said, stay in Dallas for another year. He should have stayed in Dallas for another year. I think that.
Well, I mean, it's just when you get that kind of offers with that kind of an offer, you
gotta strike when the iron's hot.
But now he's got to sort it out. Now we'll see what the next steps are, because Augsburg's not going down. That could have been an opportunity for him too, but it doesn't look like that's happening. So
now he's got to pick himself up, work at it. Now there are cases where, I mean, everyone's different, but there are situations where players get broken,
Right.
Like I remember there was a guy named Robbie Finley who was part of the 2010 World Cup. Right up till the 2010 World Cup, he was a great player, scoring goals for Real Salt Lake. He was just a revelation. And then he had kind of a rough World Cup, and then he went to England. He played for Nottingham Forest, Ethan Horvath's club, and he was just never the same again. And he was just broken. And he played for many years after that.
Yeah, I mean, I forget who it was. I think it was Lutz Pfannenstiel, who was the co-commentator on the Bochum Augsburg game this weekend, and he was saying how remember in reference to Pepe, said remember the first season that Robert Lewandowski had at Dortmund didn't go that well either. And I was like, I mean, not everyone who has a shitty season turns into Robert Lewandowski.
I'm hoping Patrick Klimala follows that. I'm hoping my Polish guy follows that path. 100%. There's always exceptions. But every player's their own thing, and hopefully Ricardo Pepi seems like a good, hardworking little kid, young man. And I hope he picks himself up and gets going, and I hope he doesn't get too beaten up. And the dude does have talent, so I wish him the best. He's still only like 19, so there's still plenty of room to go.
There's still time.
All right, Bjorn.
All right.
Any last thoughts or questions? Nein? Jawohl.
That's it.
That was the Schnitzel Boys.
It was a pleasure. A pleasure as always.
A pleasure as always to talk. And you know what? NYCFC fans and New Red Bulls fans can be friends. All right? It's about love.
It's not a problem.
It's just about supporting the beautiful game and supporting soccer in this country and the soccer in the world.
Sam was incredulous. He's like, why? What could be the reason?
Well, Sam, thanks for listening. And if you knew me, you and I would be friends. You'd come over that Anger Bridge and over the Friendship Shore to me, and we would be friends. Okay. Thank you very much. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. Tell your friends, listen to the podcast, review us, write us, and tell your friends. You know what? Tell your enemies. Tell everybody. Tell everybody listen to us. We've been the Schnitzel Boys. Tschüss, auf Wiedersehen, bis nächste Woche.
Tschüss. Macht's gut.